I've always felt like, oh, it'd be cool to learn alien. So watching this movie again, I was like, I really should.
In case aliens show up in the movie.
I mean, I think that this might be my favorite alien movie.
Ooh, really? Wait, of all time?
I
Get out of here.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Chums, where chatting about movies feels like hanging out with friends. I'm your host, Danny, and with me is Marcel. Unfortunately, our initial recording for this intro got slightly corrupted in the audio portion, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. And in case, I'm re-recording it now. This week, we're going to continue our month-long watch of thriller and some scary movies with two movies. The 2018 film A Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski, and written by Brian Woods, Scott Beck, and John Krasinski, starring Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Millicent Simmonds, and Noah Jupe, and the 2023 film No One Will Save You, written and directed by Brian Duffield, starring Caitlin Dever and the amazing sound design crew. We jump into the conversation with us talking about the fact that I have to say John Krasinski 100 times. Let's get into it.
It's such a long.
It's a long name,
but like very.
There's. Yes. Well, there's Krasinski, the two K's at the very beginning and in the end, and then not a ton of E.
Yeah, it's true. There's I was listening to. I'm a big fan of The Office, right? John Krasinski's in it, and I was listening to one of their. They have The Office Ladies podcast, where the two characters, the one that plays Pam, the other one that plays Angela, they're going through the whole series and.
Talking about
it in stories. Anyways, one of the writers and directors of the episodes talks about how he has a master class that you can sign up about like writing screenplay comedies, and he talks about how there are in the English vocabulary there are specific words or sounds in words that just emote comedy. I wish I could remember. And he talks about how he often would write unique words, obviously that go into the story and into the sentence and dialogue, but that are just funny because of the sound of it.
Was he a story writer?
I don't who.
Krasinski? Is that who they were talking about?
No. This is just one of the.
Oh, okay.
One of the writers on the show. Anyways, I just think it's fascinating that. And he breaks down like all the different like sounds in the English vocabulary that are just to the human mind are just trigger funny and laughter.
That's awesome.
But Krasinski in this case triggers I don't know,
something in you.
Something in me.
Anyways,
but before we jump into our movie today, we just wanted to remind you to please subscribe wherever you get your podcast and to turn on those notifications so that way you never miss an episode.
To join the conversation, follow us on social at Real Chums. And if at the end of the episode you enjoyed it, we'd love it if you left a review. It really helps us get discovered.
Lastly, another item of housekeeping. We wanted to inform all of our listeners and viewers that we're going to be taking actually a break in December and returning in mid-January with continual new episodes. But, however, during that break, we're going to be releasing episodes every week, past episodes, so that way you can revisit them and
for all the new people who are finding us, that they can listen, maybe be able to get to listen to some of those, because we don't want. It's just a great way to be reminded of some of the episodes we've done, because we're at 30, 35, 36 currently, which is amazing and it's super fun to do. But we will not be like dilly-dallying. As much as we want to be hanging out with the family and stuff, we're still going to be trying to do stuff, because we're going to be prepping our exclusive content for our upcoming launch of our Patreon in January. We want this to be a community. We want this a place where you who are fellow movie lovers can come and join us to actually converse with us, and we have special little things that we're planning that we are really excited for.
Yeah, it's exciting time. Make sure you're following us on socials. We're going to have a full description over the next coming weeks about what the Patreon and subscription consists of, what benefits, what additional content we'll have on there, and prices, etc. So be sure to stay tuned, follow, so you stay informed.
Absolutely. I have the question of the day.
Okay.
I know that you love alien movies.
I love alien movies.
Who has a better alien? In A Quiet Place or No One Will Save You?
Good question. I think I like A Quiet Place slightly more. No One Will Save You. The aliens look very traditional. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's that big, like, tarantula looking one.
That one gave me that gave me the Ghiblies.
And then the
like symbiote thing.
Yeah.
That thing also gross.
Oh, when it comes out of her mouth.
Ugh.
Then there's the little cute looking one who was just a monster.
Cute?
I'm for sure. When he came out, I'm like, oh, this one's going to be like an E.T. style. Like, he's going to help her out. And then, like, he just, like, a freaking monster. I'm like, get out of here. I hate you.
Huge. I was really impressed with the diversity of aliens that they decided to go with, even though they're all, like, similar face and whatever. Very intriguing choice. Yeah. But I have to go with you as well. The Quiet Place monsters, I think because the fact that they were very... one, the whole premise of the movie, which we'll get into in a second, but they literally are designed lethal. Like the designers for that one, just knew they want, like, they made them so effective at what they do, at just killing.
Yeah. I will say though, like, the Quiet Place aliens, I don't think they're designed. Yes, they're like they're designed lethal. Yes, but their look, it's nothing new. It reminds me a lot of like the Stranger Things.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
The monster there. So it looks. I don't know.
It's not innovative.
It's not innovative, but it is like very efficient in its way.
And terrifying. I feel terrifying. Do you feel like the one in No One Will Save You is? I mean, it's generic, but like, do you feel like they were innovative? Do you feel like they had any sort of?
I think, and I like, I'm going through like my knowledge of alien movies, but like, I feel like this is the most we've seen the traditional like green big
kind
head,
of the dome head thing,
the dome head, big eyes, right? But like, be very present in a movie where they're actually like going after her and like using their telepathic
telekinetic, telekinesis,
abilities. Yeah, I mean, again, I think I really like the different alien types. I would love to like know more of like their society and like how you get recruited to be what. But I don't know. It's very
wild.
unique.
Let us know in the comments which has a better monster or the alien feel. We decided at the end last episode to do both these together. The reason why I wanted to do this both together is because, look, both the movies leverage something that is often not leveraged in film, because audio is literally like 75% of movies.
Yeah.
Yet they took that and they like leveraged it. Like they took that to the, not necessarily extreme, but like they made that part of the key story in this in two different ways, right? A Quiet Place leverages it as the entirety, essentially, of the story.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that they can't speak or they don't want to speak. It's that like, no, it's they can't speak because if they do, any sound would trigger monsters coming to kill them. Super huge ramifications, honestly.
Right.
We'll get that to it. The second one is No One Will Save You, where it's just more of, it's an individual. It's one person in their life and they don't have anyone really around them. And they're like...
And I think maybe, she's like an anxiety-filled individual, but I think it was done so more for an artistic style.
Correct.
Rather than a story telling format.
Yep.
And we'll dissect into them.
Yep.
Just real quick, we're going full spoilers. So if you haven't seen
either of them,
That's fine.
Yep.
Hang out with us. So we're gonna go full spoilers, but quick premise on No One Will Save You. This is a movie of a young, anxiety-filled individual recluse who has to battle an alien invasion in her home and small community.
Yep. Quiet Place is the story of a family who are dealing in the post-apocalyptic world of aliens who can kill you or can find you due to sound, and they're trying to manage their life in this new paradigm.
Perfect. I want to start off real quick, though. Like, what was your viewing experience, your first time viewing experience, and your relationship with these movies, starting with A Quiet Place?
So, A Quiet Place came out in 2018. I didn't actually watch it till during the pandemic.
Okay.
And so it was just, it had been on my watch list, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and finally watch it. And I remember feeling I was a little mad at myself for not going to see this in theaters.
Okay. So you saw it at home then?
I saw it at home.
Did you like it? It was good?
I watched it because Krasinski had started the Good News Network.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Uh-huh.
And I was just reminded how much him and Emily Blunt, him and his wife are just, they love what they do, and that they're so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was again, I loved that he directed it. You know, like there's a lot to be said about that, especially with the fact that he kills himself, or he kills his character off.
Yeah.
Right. It just is awesome.
Yeah.
And so to me, that was the biggest thing for me, that, and also that, like, it was wild. Because I think I was prepping to watch the second one, which I actually haven't seen still. Okay. So my first watching, when we get to it, will be my first time watching the second part. But I thought the premise was was so strong that when I think about it, and I like start to really like, I'd be like, that would be brutal to have to live in a world where you couldn't make any sound.
Yeah.
Like, I was reminded of, anyways. So yeah, that's my experience. You?
So with Quiet Place, I saw it in theaters. Okay. I remember reading all the hype for it, people just loving it. We saw it in theaters, and I even remember like reading an article that said like, try, like, it's a great experience to see it in theaters, but it could also be horrible because, like, depending on like the audience, what that would be like. I was fortunate enough to be in an audience like of people who did not open their wrappers. Like, everyone was just so silent. Yeah. And again, like I said, I remember hearing people being like, yeah, there are people talking, and like it threw them off, but not in my viewing. Like, we were all hooked and into it, and it really was just like this, none of us want to make any sound. One, because like, yeah, the movie itself doesn't want you to make sound, and two, because like it's so quiet that you don't want to be that guy. Yeah, who's to ruin the experience. Yeah, chewing on the popcorn or on the candy, whatever it was. So it was awesome. I loved seeing it in theaters. I saw it just the one time. Loved the premise. Loved the concept of not being able to make any sound. I'm a sucker for John Krasinski. Well, there we go. I can't say his name. Jim from The Office. I'm a huge fan of John, but also Emily Blunt, and we just saw her, I know, in Oppenheimer recently. Yes, and we talked about how great she was. She's great here. I forget, and shame on me. Like, she is phenomenal. I was actually earlier before the pod, I was saying I think we should do themes. One of the things is I kind of want to do like different theme segments for next season. Okay. Because I kind of want to just dive into a couple of actors / maybe directors, and they're like some of their filmography. Because like every time I think about Emily Blunt, when I think about filmmakers or actors, it's not that I don't think she's amazing
because I do, but she's not always the first one that comes to my mind. But every single movie that I see her in, are thoroughly some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Or some that I really enjoy. Devil's Wear Prada.
Incredible.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Phenomenal.
Okay. The Quiet Place. You've got, she's got, what else she's in? She's in, the Oppenheimer.
But that's the thing. I think those are the only 4 movies I've seen her.
She's got...
That come top of mind. Like, yeah. And that's why I'm saying, like, shame on me for not, like, going out of my way and seeing more of Emily Blunt, because she is truly just...
Poppins.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, The Adjustment Bureau.
That's right. With Matt Damon, right?
Yep. Which is, I think, on Netflix right now. There's a new Netflix movie coming out called Pain Hustlers that she's going to be coming in. The English is one that's on my list.
The English.
Yeah, it's an Amazon exclusive. And every single time I see her, I'm like, I want to sit down. But for whatever reason, I see her, and I think part of it's because of Oppenheimer. I'm like, I know I'm going to love it. I just want to like give time to it.
The one that I haven't seen, and obviously everyone praises her, is Sicario. I haven't seen Sicario.
That one's amazing.
And I hear she's...
Second one's garbage. Don't do it. Just watch the first one.
That's what I've heard.
This is really funny. She plays Juliet. She voices Juliet in the movie Sherlock Gnomes. And I freaking love the gnome movies. We have gnomes for all the holidays.
There's more than one gnome movie. Is Sherlock Gnomes part of a gnome franchise that I'm not aware of?
I don't know if it's exactly part of the gnome franchise, but it is. There's the Romeo and Juliet.
I remember hearing
this. And then there's Sherlock Gnomes. And then I think there's another gnome one.
Wow.
But there's just like these gnome movies out there that are just like living their best lives.
Wow.
Anyways, so...
Okay.
Into the Woods, too.
You know, I did not have a good experience with Into the Woods.
Yeah, I remember you saying this. But anyways, I think part of it is like, I do think it would be an awesome experience to like, maybe not watch all the movies, but like segments of those movies and be able to like discuss some of the things that we found. So anyways, we'll probably get to it. I don't know if it'll be next season, but it will be on our, it's on our long-term
radar
podcast plan.
Yeah. And then you and we watched No One Will Save You, at least the first half
together, which was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Our wives were watching A Haunting in Venice
in the theaters, and then we just put it on TV and zoomed each other. But we did it. Then we finished it on our own.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I was hooked with this movie just from the trailer alone.
Yeah.
Mainly just because of there was no dialogue.
Yep.
And then I had read somewhere that the movie as a whole, there is no dialogue. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
you've got me. Let's do it. And anyways, it's a little bit spooky, creepy.
The screenplay for this, check out our Twitter, or Marcel's Twitter, because he tweeted out of the screenplay, literally just like no formatting, just like giant blocks of like descriptions, and then like a little bit of like action to like of description. It is madness.
Yeah, as someone for me who hopes to one day be write a movie and loves to read screenplays, I watched that and I was just like, this is what's so great about like writing a screenplay. Like, yeah, there are some generic rules, but not really. Like, you can just do whatever as long as you're getting your point and the feelings you want to be felt on paper. There are no rules.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like I was really fascinated with the screenplay. But let's dig into it. Let's jump into how silence works as a storytelling element. How does the use of silence in both these movies affected your viewing experience?
Okay, so I'm going to start with No One Will Save You, because I think for me, the thing that was super, because it wasn't leveraged as story, it was just such a strong motivation to the fact that this individual was so alone.
Yeah.
She interacts with several people, and she lives in a small town. But this small town, she's something like I think it made it for her to be such an intriguing character for the movie in its entirety, because she doesn't really talk to anybody. She doesn't like she does try to call somebody, but like nothing happens.
Yeah.
And so for me, it became something that was quite intriguing, and it wasn't like as to the fact that she wasn't a screamer. Like when you see a lot of these movies, girls are often screaming a ton. Not to say that they do, but I'm just saying like that's just the trope, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For like these scary movies. She didn't, and it was like really she I don't know if we know her character name, but Dever, Caitlin, amazing. She did an amazing job acting.
Oh,
Housekeeping.
sorry. Amateur.
You're okay. I just thought it was phenomenal. For The Quiet Place, though, truly next level storytelling.
Right. And it's, like you mentioned earlier, it's done so because they're using silence as a way to push the story forward. If you make any sound, these creatures are going to come and kill you and attack you, right?
Yes.
And so the choice to obviously have a family that communicates through ASL, of course they're going to survive longer than others.
Yeah.
But also it's I love how this movie, the first 20 minutes of this movie, first 10 minutes we see the death of the little boy.
Dude, that still
I always,
absolutely brutal.
that first time I watched it in theaters, I was just like, oh, we're going there. Like,
oh, it went there, dude. It was
like, this happened. And so like those first like 20 minutes, it shows us the danger of making sound.
Yeah.
Then the next 10 minutes, the movie takes time to show us how they live without making sound, right? We see them in the farm. We see them make dinner. Even the way they eat, they use leaves as a form to like hold as utensils, right? When they're playing Monopoly, it's such a fun story element to add into your story to say you can't talk because if you talk, you will die.
I think this movie and C have two different mediums of like how much our senses impact our lives. Right. In A Quiet Place, we have the fact that we can't make sound. So there's systems that they've placed to like help with that. They don't wear any shoes. They have some sort of sand thing that they leave for trails.
Yeah.
Who decided to make this setup, to make a decision like this, right? Was that their family, right? Well, and like even before they cut to the thing, with like, game, I'm like, man, you literally have to like shift so much of your life so that you didn't make a sound.
Yeah.
Because so much of our sound, unless even when you're living alone, there's like, there's stuff that happens, right? And so for me, I was like, every single time, it's like I'm fascinated by the fact of this story, this choice that is such hugely impactful, not only for this family, but for the world in its whole, and also for like I was thinking, I'm like, man, I really should. I've always felt like, oh, it'd be cool to learn ASL. Watching this movie again, I was like, I really should.
In case aliens show up.
I mean, in case aliens, but also because like living in a world where especially for the daughter, the oldest daughter, who is deaf, how much their life probably feels like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. For whatever reason, it like really like impacted me this time. I think part of it is because we're talking to our children about diversity in bodies and in individuals, and trying to address a lot of different things with as our kids grow. And so it was just, I don't know, pretty impactful this time.
And I love that you mentioned that, like the lifestyle that they live through silence, whereas Bryn's character in No One Will Save You, it's again just an artistic style, and like she's dancing, she's singing.
Yeah, there's sound.
There's sound, right? And she's humming along to the music that she has playing in the background. She's making sound throughout it. I just think it's such a unique perspective between the two movies, where one, it's again, the silence is part of the story element, whereas the other one is more of an artistic style form.
Yeah. Let's talk about the sound design.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Both of them have these aliens that, we talked about at the beginning, like some aliens, and both of them are very intriguing. Both of them leverage sounds. And I wanted to, who do you think does it better? And I'm not saying like we have like 100% this is better. It's just like in this conversation.
I think A Quiet Place does it better in the sense that because you can't make sound, it's frightening. And I'm thinking, I even wrote in my notes here. Let me pull up my notes.
Get the notes.
I wrote. Here's what I wrote. I hate how the sound design is over exaggerated, but it's used for jump scares. Effective. Yeah. Right? Even like that scene when they're playing Monopoly and they knock over the
lantern.
The lantern, right? So loud. Okay? No lantern is that loud in real life. Like, not at all. But because they're so quiet these first 18, 20 minutes, right? And you know why they have to be quiet, then it's like when that gets knocked over, just and I'm like, I hate that you're doing this. I literally jump.
Are you over there because you're like, oh, I can't hear anything? Turn up the volume.
No, I had it in normal volume. I'm just like, look, I get it. Like, so effective, so efficient. Because I even this last time watching it at home, I was so quiet because the movie brings you into this joint experience of being quiet to the point where again, in the movie theater, we were all quiet, but here at home, I had the AC blowing and I was like, I can't. I turned it off because like it was too loud, the AC, and it just made it a better experience for me. But I think it's used more efficiently and effectively in A Quiet Place than No One Will Save You, because No One Will Save You, the sound, and maybe it's just because I don't notice. I noticed it more in the sense that no one is talking, therefore the sound is very front and present.
Yeah.
Whereas in A Quiet Place, it's designed in a way to enhance the danger.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, look, the No One Will Save You, I had a couple of irks. Some of them were the fact that, like, they wanted to emphasize danger and fear and, like, non-unnaturalness with the aliens at different times. Like, the aliens would, like, move robotically at times, and yet other times they were totally fine. And, like, they had the weird, like, creak, like those sounds. Not that that wasn't effective. It's just that, like, sometimes I was like, pick one or the other, dude.
Sure.
But it's just because they needed something visually to showcase sense of danger and some of those other things. And but I felt like that with No One Will Save You, they did the sense of, like, your life and dealing with this alone, with all the things happening, was pretty good.
Yeah.
However, I 100% agree with you. The fact that, like, the thing is that No One Will Save You is a non-dialogued movie, whereas A Quiet Place is a movie that can't have dialogue or sound, which then intensifies the feeling, which then gets intensified with the sound design of the monsters, the sense of, like, no sound to, like, someone, with the deaf daughter.
Yeah.
And then and even amplified with the fact that, like, she's having a baby. That, to me, still to this day, is like, she's like, they end up having a choice where, that they got pregnant and they're trying to prep everything so everything goes fine to be able to continue to go. And the whole time you just think, like, this is crazy.
Not just crazy, but I mean, I remember the first time when like the camera pans over to show you that she's pregnant. I'm just like, why? Why would you do that?
This is your no.
I'm just always just so like, way to make your life just so much more harder. Babies are great. Babies are a blessing, but why?
in a scenario like that, right? Like,
and then going into the tub scene.
The tub scenes, and that's where I think, like, to me, I feel like having a artistic choice versus a storytelling choice, I personally I lean to the storytelling decision.
100%.
And it's not to say that No One Will Save You wasn't a fun and enjoyable experience, because you should go see it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Look, the fact that you and I were watching it, and as we were watching it, we just kept saying, like, oh, no, man, like, stay quiet, because the aliens are just on the other side of the bed. And then, like, they do those little, like, their toes just, like...
Yeah, like the...
right? But whereas in A Quiet Place, I am not commentating in the movie because I am scared that if I make a noise, they're going to come out. Right? Like, it does such an efficient way at capturing you and making you be literally in the movie by you also participating in the silence.
Yeah.
Right? It's incredible.
Great stuff. All right, do you think there's anything else that with the silence in both decisions that you feel like makes the two movies stand out?
There's one thing, and I want to jump a little bit into the theme of A Quiet Place. Right, A Quiet Place. There's a lot of themes around parenting, family dynamics, but at the end of the day, the theme of communication, right? Yes, we've talked about how the movie uses silence and the inability to make sound or to talk as a element of a storytelling element. But this movie, at its core, is about a family that doesn't communicate with one another to share their feelings. So you have the literal lack of communication out of danger to make sound, but you also have the lack of communication of their emotions and feelings towards one another. And I love the scene in when they're in the waterfall and the son tells the dad, like, you know, she blames herself for the death of the little baby, right?
Yeah.
And he tells him, like, do you? And he's like, no, not at all. And then the son says, well, do you still love her? And he says, of course. And then he literally says, you should tell her that.
Yeah.
I love just that line of you should tell her. In a movie where you cannot talk, where you cannot say anything, the line of you should tell her that is so powerful. To be able to say, like, yeah, you need to tell her. So again, I love the use and the metaphors and symbolism of not talking out of fear of being killed, but not talking with one another because of anger, because of remorse, because of pain, because of not wanting to share each other's feelings. It's beautiful. Something, again, that No One Will Save You doesn't... Again, silence is not there for a storytelling element, rather for an artistic style.
I mean, it's somewhat of a storytelling, but it's not. Yeah, it's an artistic thing for that. I love that you said that. I don't think I think it's even amplified, like, in what's happened. Like I said earlier, like, they've painted walkways for where to go. Like, they have all these little things that yet it's still something that it's not emphasized to have a discussion about.
Sure.
Right. And part of it could be that, like, as parent, like, that parenting aspect of it comes into play with, like, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to help your children deal with something so drastic that has impacted the family in whole, which then gets amplified with the fact that there's going to be another kid coming in the world that they have to, like, try to handle.
Oh,
freaking just crazy. I wanted to, because I want to talk more about the themes and some of that happens in Quiet Place, but I want to talk about the character development between the Abbott family and Bryn.
Okay.
Before we do, I guess let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about the weird ending for No One Will Save You.
No One Will Save You. Okay.
Because we need to talk about it, because otherwise it's just like, I don't know if we can get I think we'll get caught up in whatever. So let's rip the Band-Aid off.
So a little context. It turns out that Bryn was involved in an accidental death of her best friend growing up.
Yeah.
They got into some kind of argument, and Bryn threw a rock.
Took a rock, and I guess.
And like in a moment of anger, as an 11, 12-year-old kid, throws it, and her friend Maud falls and just dies. Okay. So that's why she has lived as a recluse for the rest of up to this point. Just because like the town has shunned her and whatever, right? Her mom shortly died after, so she just kind of lived on her own.
Yeah, like I imagine this is like super small town. Everyone knows everybody.
Yeah.
And so she's now the worst person in the world.
Yeah, and it turns out that the sheriff is the father of the friend that died. Yeah. Right. So that's why she can't go to the police, because there's still some hostility there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so then the movie, she gets abducted.
Yeah.
She then is
mind probed.
She's in this body of water, this pool of water. She's mind probed. She revisits these moments in her life.
Yeah.
And that's where we find out where the death happens. It's a very touching scene, because this is someone who obviously struggles with trauma, grief. And the movie really focuses on forgiveness. Like, she needs to forgive herself.
Yeah.
To move on.
Yeah.
Right? So the aliens see this, and this mind probing. We come out of it, and like they're talking amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And so then they spare her. They don't kill her.
Yeah.
She's dropped back down on the road.
Yeah.
And then the movie cuts, I don't know, to sometime in forward, and everything seems normal. Like she comes out, and she's happy. She's energetic. She's waving to the neighbors. There are people around. She goes to like a party later that evening, a community party. She's finally dancing with the, was it the mailman?
So I don't know. Here's I think maybe I don't know. The thing though that I don't know if you caught this is that like when she says bye to the she like drops off like a bird house to a porch, and she leaves and she's by. The guy turns, and they have the little like weird parasitic or symbiotic thing was in the guy. So which leads us to assume that like they're all being controlled, or
they're all being controlled,
minus her.
Or maybe not controlled, rather
occupied.
Right. Those little aliens have now occupied that body.
Yeah, and so, but she's living her life, and then it ends.
The camera pans out,
but she she looks right into the camera. There's like this whole dance sequence, then like what's the knock on my door or something is a song or whatever, and she waves. She like says bye to the camera, and then it just goes up, and
then you see all the little alien UFOs hovering throughout
the sky. That's it.
And that's it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm not saying maybe
you said you're like, I'm still pondering and like thinking on the ending and what it's trying to say. I don't think it's, and maybe like I'm missing the point, but like we went from this scene of where she's talking to her younger, is it her younger self or her younger friend, when she's being mind probed, right? Yeah. And she comes to this realization that she just needs to forgive herself, and that only then she can really truly live her life and move on. But then
why does she get spared?
And then these aliens now are Like
this is where I get a little like I'm a little peeved because I'm look there's some level of connection that the aliens have with Bryn.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a moment where when a new alien comes by in the evening after the day, she gets chased by one of the people that have been possessed or inhabited, and she's in the evening she's hiding from him, and she has scissors. He like telekinesis it out of the hands. She's holding on to like a picture of her and her mom, and he yanks it out of her, and he sees the picture, and then it like we move on.
Yeah.
And then there's a later when he's looking at like the wall of pictures and whatever, and so like somehow, for some reason, Bryn has they've connected with this individual, but I'm still like I
just feel like you write this character who overcomes this trauma, right? And overcomes it and learns to now accept that like she accidentally killed her friend, but that doesn't define her. Rather, it has shaped her, and she can move on. But she moves on in a controlled life and environment, and I feel that cheats then her growth as a character.
Interesting.
I can be happy
because I don't have to deal with the repercussions.
Right, and not just that, but like, put me in a controlled and simulated environment where everyone is nice to me and everyone waves at me and would like to dance with me, and of course I'll be happy. It's a simulated environment, controlled environment designed to make me happy. Of course, what growth do I have then? And I think that's my issue with this movie. I love every aspect of it, but it's just that like this character grows, but to what point? For her to say, I can now move on, but you're moving on to a controlled environment where everything is designed to make you happy.
Yeah.
I'm really curious if there was a different ending to this.
Oh, interesting.
And the studio came back and said
no.
And I don't know what a better ending would have been. I don't know if like she comes out of that and she's like, oh, I have the strength now to take out these aliens. No, of course not. But like,
or have some sense of like what agreement? Like, why did I don't know something? Because it's a weird, and maybe it's just supposed to be a weird alien movie. Because I will say, like, the aliens are good. The experience of the situation of like what she has to go through, what you experience. It's a solid alien movie.
Yeah.
What the ending is, I have no idea. It's Alien.
And look, I'm a sucker for movies where humanity doesn't win. Like, there's the Nicolas Cage 2010 movie Knowing.
Yes. Know. Okay.
A horrible movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But I love it. It's one of my guilty pleasure movies because I love that at the end of the day, humanity doesn't win. Earth gets destroyed.
This is what happens when we don't make progress.
Yeah. Right. And so like at the end, I was kind of like, oh wow, like they win, we lost, but for Bryn, it just makes no sense.
Yeah. I don't know. So now, on the flip side, I feel like, look, The Quiet Place first one ends with, like, just your heart being ripped from you.
Okay, let's talk about John's death.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so emotional.
It's so emotional.
Do I think it could have been avoidable? Yes.
Yeah, right?
And maybe I should have prefaced this conversation with there's a lot of plot holes in this movie. That if you go digging into it, if you really think about like the little plot details, this movie wouldn't make no sense. that's not what we're here to do. I think you just accept the movie for what it is and as what it is, and just move forward. But it's such a powerful and emotional death and scene for him to sacrifice himself to save his children, right?
Right.
What is it about his death that just hits?
That's a good question. Look, I think your previous comment about communicate, this is a family that doesn't communicate the feelings. No, let me phrase that. Parents in this family have a difficult time communicating with their children, not only because of the nature of what the world they live in, but also with just as individuals, as well as the children not feeling like they're not being listened to, right, to a degree, right, especially with the older sister. And so I think for me, the thing is that we see Christians, Mr. Abbott really trying to figure things out for his family.
Yeah.
I mean, we can feel that he loves them, right? Later we find that, he doesn't blame her, but even that, like, he wants to protect them, and he shows that by, like, look, I don't want you to go down there to the radio room, because he doesn't want anything to happen that could trigger sound, and trying to protect in the sense of, like, protection overall.
Sure.
Which causes a rift with his daughter, and wanting, I think, also he's protective
Yeah.
of her in a lot of situations, right? And then, like you said, the waterfall scene provides us a sense of the amount that he has to deal with trying to help his children live in a world like this,
mm-hmm.
where one is the boy is completely terrified.
Dude, I love the little kid, the boy.
Yeah,
his like expressions of fear,
absolutely genuine. Like, it's just
so good,
so good.
Like it's so good just because, like, he is a little kid,
mm-hmm.
and, like, he's constantly in a state. He's just like a baby, but, like, and for, like, justified reasons. Like, it's so good. Anyways,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Is, like, he's like his. I think look, as a father myself, I think that the reason why he's, to a degree, John isn't necessarily bringing the daughters, because he knows that she's strong and that she's gonna be okay. He's worried about his son.
Yes,
I think, to a degree, but that also hurts his daughter.
Yeah.
It's like, as a parent, at the end of the day, you can't really win.
But yes, and leading up to that scene is my favorite scene of the movie.
Okay.
This last time watching it, he's been working on the hearing aid.
Yeah.
He takes it out to her. They're outside, and he tells her to try it. She says, "No, it never works." Right? I love that scene, and maybe we'll do, like, a scene breakdown of it, because I got teary-eyed in that scene. It's just powerful because she just keeps shutting him down, and he keeps trying to, like, say, "Look, I've been working on this," and she says, "No, it never works." She signs that to him, and yeah, right, and you just feel, for me, watching it this time, I just felt resentment. Anger, these feelings of pain and grief, and that there's something else there. There's a reason why she doesn't want to try it on, right? And which we later go find out that, she blames herself for the death, right, of the little brother. And so there's just, it's such a powerful scene with no dialogue, with American Sign Language being said that she, like,
with dialogue, but not words.
Not words. Yeah, thank you. And it's just so powerful, and that's where you see that dynamic between John's character and his daughter.
Yeah,
and that strain that there is in between them.
And I think his death becomes impactful because it's his way of saying it's not your fault to a degree, right? Could have been avoidable. I think, like, obviously, because you're like, just get her in front of it. Just tell her to come over here.
Yeah, or just grab the axe and make a noise somewhere else. I don't know, but yeah, it's impactful because again, the son later in the waterfall scene tells her, like, you should tell her that you love her, right? And he takes that time to say, I was reading that on the script. It said, for him to sign "I love you," right? But then the girl who's actually deaf in real life, which she's local. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she's from Utah.
From Utah, yeah. That's awesome.
Anyway, she decided on set to say, you should change it to "I have always loved you," which I think that's such a.
It was powerful.
It's more powerful, right?
Yeah,
and impactful.
I agree. There's something about. I think, I don't know. There's a lot of pressure for Krasinski's character because he's prepping for a child to come into a world that is not
ideal to have a child in this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has to manage that while also trying to leverage a location that they can live a life that they can as best they can.
Yeah.
Got the demons out of me.
Yeah.
And so how does John's death, let's switch over to Emily's character.
Yeah.
Why leave her? Why have John's character die?
I think because we see throughout the movie this strain, like I mentioned, this divide between John and his children, both of them. I think he's I don't know if he does blame her for the death.
Right.
He says he doesn't, right?
Right,
and that's fine. But I don't know. There could be some underlying blame that he's maybe giving her, or not just that. Maybe he blames himself for not having done more, right? So I think there's that strain there. We also see the relationship that he has with the son, where it's more, you have to step up, you have to be good at these things because one day you're gonna have to take care of your mom or whatever, right? So it's very non-traditional in the sense where, hey, let's go out and throw a baseball, right? Or let me help you with your homework type of a thing. It's very different, the relationship that he has in this post-apocalyptic world. That I think by him dying, whereas in contrast to Emily's character, she is definitely involved. She's helping with the homework.
Yeah.
She's trying to also encourage the daughter to like participate in some of the house maintenance stuff, right? She I think she's the one that has the line that she says, "I didn't have anything in my hands. I should have carried." Yeah. The little boy, right?
Yep.
So she also blames herself, but she has gone into mother survival mode of, I'm about to have a kid, but I also need to nurture my other children.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas John's character is definitely more blaming himself as the patriarch of the family, right? So by his death happening, I feel like it gives his character that resolution of, I'm telling you, I have always loved you, and I don't blame you.
Yeah. And
I'm sacrificing myself for you. And it gives then Emily's character that moment to shine, which we see. Okay, we see a recent mother that has gone into labor pull out a shotgun and start shooting aliens, right? Ridiculous, but I love it.
I think it's a gender. To me, I feel like it was it's a great way to emphasize the fact that like eliminating gender roles in a lot of in some of these scenarios, right? Like having the male be the hero or whatever. Like parents are heroes, period.
Yeah.
Right? And I also think that like no matter how you cut it, like being a parent is the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And I think this movie does a wonderful job emphasizing like how much harder would it be.
It would be. John Krasinski. Oh my gosh. John has gone on record to say that this movie is a love letter to his children, to his and Emily's children. Mm-hmm. And you see that because at the end of the day, and you would say this, you would die for your kids.
You would die for your kids.
Right? In whatever environment, whether it's post-apocalyptic, now, whatever situation, you would die for your kids.
Yeah.
And in this case, the love letter, and I don't know why that sticks with me so much, for him to say, like, whatever situation we're in, I would be willing to go to the most extreme measures of survival to be able to make sure you are safe.
Yeah.
And I think that last scene, it brings a sense of safety, emotional safety.
Yeah, that's a wonderful way to put it.
Of emotional safety to the girl's character to say, I have always loved you, right? And for her to see that. Because the camera isn't showing the son, right? The son knows the relationship he has with his father.
Right.
Right here, it's about her.
Yeah.
And for him to say, I have always loved you. Not, I have always loved you guys.
Yeah.
It's, I have always loved you.
Yeah. It then showcases in the final, scenes.
Yeah.
With the fact that they figure out the weakness, right? And that because of the events that have happened, they were able to figure out the weakness.
Yeah.
And all the things that he was doing to try to help, provide his daughter with a better world or whatever, with the ear, the little amplifier or whatever. And it shows in their confidence. Like the daughter finds strength and stands up with Emily Blunt's character to win, right?
Yeah.
Yet we know it's a part one, but like it's just it is. I think it's so strong.
It's so strong. It's so strong. It's powerful to leave your characters empowered like that.
Yeah.
And even though the movie ends just like that,
yeah,
which at the time no intention to create a sequel.
That's correct. For
it to end just like that, it's such a powerful last scene there.
Absolutely, it's both very impressionable endings.
Yeah. For very different reasons. Very impressionable. Look, there's been this common theme this month in our scary movie selections about human stories, right, of conflict in the backdrop of a horror setting.
Right.
And I just think this movie does a great story and tells a great story about a family unit in this environment. So
it's been fun. It's been fun to go down these movies that we've done, because I think I've come to appreciate the genre a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you and I both are like horror.
Horror. I don't know about horror. No, yeah, 100%. I think I like that. There's more appreciation towards them.
Yeah. Not to say I'm going to go out to the next horror movie, but I'm not going to be as reluctant as I was before. Look, these movies. What are the thoughts you have for the movies? I think, is there any other thoughts you have for No One Will Save You?
Look, No One Will Save You. I think I dogged on it there towards the end. But it is such a unique alien story. Yeah. It really is, in the sense that it does take a traditional alien trope of abduction and little big-headed monsters, but puts it in this home environment, and as a tool of as an artistic style to not have any dialogue, it is so creative. It is creative to tell that story, because even though A Quiet Place is there. I mean, there is dialogue, obviously, through sign language, and then there are scenes where they're actually talking or whispering, right? No One Will Save You has none of that.
Yeah.
None of that, right? And so it's so unique in that sense to have a story continue to move forward without saying anything, but just through the elements and what's happening around her, and obviously the actress with her emotions. It's really an accomplishment in and of itself.
Phenomenal. No, she truly is amazing.
Yeah.
She did a fantastic job. I felt she really came to her own character.
Yeah.
Like, she decided this is how this character is going to be. Mm-hmm. Or maybe the director and she kind of like worked together to go from there.
Yeah.
But it was honestly beautiful acting.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that this might be my favorite Alien movie.
Ooh, really? Wait, of all time?
Get
out of here, dude.
I don't know.
I mean, we just did Signs.
Yeah, but Signs is not an alien.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We said that. We said that it's not an alien movie.
Like, I feel like if you're like, hey, what's a good alien movie? I would say this movie.
Okay, I will be watching this probably like every year. I think it'll be in my queue of like
scary movies.
Of scary movies.
I again, this is another one of those. I'm like, I wonder if we like, because I was thinking, I'm like, is this the best alien movie? And I'm like, I feel like I need to watch some more. I'm like, or is Alien the best alien movie? Probably Alien.
Probably Alien.
Let's be honest. But this is, if you think of like the alien trope, this is up there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like they had enough diversity. There was enough uniqueness, and the movie itself was unique that it put itself in the top 5.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'll say that.
Top 5. Okay, I'll take that.
Because you can't trope Alien. There's that for that whole aspect. I don't know. I just think both had such unique. I just loved that both of them decided to do something that they flipped a thing that you would do. Because in a lot of scary movies, it's literally nothing but loud sounds and screaming, and like grotesque dismemberment and
deaths and
shooting and all this other stuff, right? Or like torture or whatever. And to some degree you would say like this is torture, but it's like it just feels so it honestly, to me, it's sometimes more horrifying because it'd be like absolutely brutal.
Sure. Yeah.
To think that like I have to live my whole life not being able to help like verbally share as much or whatever, because I'm scared that one mistake could mean the end of my family.
Could be the end. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the fact that I don't want to get freaking what is it, the little, what did I say?
The little symbiote.
Yeah. Anyways, so good movies for this week's episode.
Great movies. Go out and watch. I think. A Quiet Place is on Max.
Yeah. HBO Max is on A Quiet Place, and then Paramount. Sorry, Hulu has
Hulu original. Yeah.
Yep, Hulu original.
Great movies.
Good stuff.
We really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Yes.
I have one last thing.
Please.
I just thought of it. Do you think No One Will Save You would have been, because it went straight to digital?
Yeah.
Do you think it would have, and it's gotten some love in some of the critics and what they've said. Do you think it would have gotten as much love if it went to theaters?
No.
It's not good enough, huh?
I think.
Or is it the ending?
I think the ending, 1, 2. I think the VFX at times just wasn't.
Yeah. All there.
Where I think in a major release they would have had to put more budget into it, or it would have looked.
Or people would have been disappointed.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because I was actually also thinking about, I think now, today in 2023, had A Quiet Place be
been released
today, I feel like that's a movie that would have gone to streaming. Not because it's bad.
No.
I just think in this landscape that we live in now,
dude, it's like every movie's completely like I heard that they were saying that the Flower Moon, the Scorsese movie, is on track to make 30 million.
Oh, wow.
In opening, it's like a 200 something million movie.
Yeah.
That's according to something on, I think, on X. I mean, an article.
Yeah.
That it wasn't going to make. It was projected to not make very much, which I don't feel like is true. I mean, it's Martin Scorsese, but it is a 2-hour long movie.
It's a 2-hour-long movie,
and it's a heft. I think it's probably going to be a weighty movie.
That, and I also, again, I feel like that's a movie that would really benefit from a Leo going out and promotion. And I forget the female character, the main character's name, where she could kind of talk more about the history and whatnot. So I feel like this is one of those. Whereas right now you have Martin Scorsese going out and just
posting content to social.
Martin Scorsese, he's at that age where he doesn't give a crap, right?
No, he doesn't.
So he's saying things like cinema doesn't exist anymore. Superhero movies are ruining the industry. This new generation of viewers just doesn't understand cinema, and so like he's also kind of shooting himself in the foot by saying things like this, things that are valid. I think he has great points, but then the media takes that and says, "Look, Martin Scorsese hates you."
I think he just wants us to think more. Look, I recently saw a video of the fact that he shares. He's like, look, like he talks about the whole breakdown. Like you have every minute, or there's there's 24 frames in a second.
Uh-huh.
So if you're gonna have 60 seconds, you have so many frames to be able to share something. So share something meaningful. Mm-hmm. It's what like instead of just throwing whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
but I do think a Leo would be out there
really giving some love to the movie.
Giving to the movie, to the industry as a whole, and just being Leo.
And more representative of, or representation of the Native American like element to the whole movie.
Yeah.
It is a little bit tragic for that. Anyways, look, this was a really good time. Both these movies were really great, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'd love if you could subscribe on whatever platform you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed the episode, we'd love it if you leave it a review. It helps us to get discovered and let us know how we can help improve the show.
More importantly, what did you think of these movies? We want to hear from you. You can always email us at your@realchums.com or find us on social at realchums. I'm also on Twitter /X at Marstrosity, MARZTROSITY.
And you find me at review_TV.
Join us next week as we continue, as we finalize our journey of scary movies this month with the classic Scream. So make sure you go revisit that. This is my first time watching Scream. I am a 30-something-year-old that has never seen this movie. Mainly because, like I've said, I don't watch scary movies, so I'm excited to talk about this.
Me too.
So
see you
go
next
watch
week.
it, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.